Hey everyone, this is Adam Ellis, and in today's tutorial I'm going to teach you how to make an epic trance bass from just one loop. Let's go. Okay, so we've got a Dave Parkinson loop. Super simple, nothing on the loop whatsoever. It's just going to a channel that's going straight to the output. I'll just call it DP bass. All I've done is put a limiter at +5 and turn the master down +5. It's just how I do it. Let's listen to it. Now, if we put a kick to this, then it's going to sound okay. You've got like a mid bass and a sub straight up. And can you use that? Well, yeah, of course you can, but you're not going to have much separation, much control. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically try and turn it into a mid bass and also a sub. So I've kind of already done the work. I've kind of pre-planned this one. I kind of stumbled by it by accident, to be honest with you. I was messing about with FabFilter's dynamic frequency EQ, and I just needed something like this bass line. And do you know what? Funnily enough, I've never made a track like this, but I've learned something new today after 17 years that you can genuinely use sub bass from loops. I've never done this before today, and I thought, got to do a tutorial on it. Right, so we've got to turn this into, first of all, we're going to nick it, save it down here, and we're going to call that DP mid, DP sub. Now, I did notice that in OBS, and I've been trying to record this tutorial for 4 hours, for some reason, when you pull the frequency down and take all the highs out and bunch up the frequencies and the lows, OBS doesn't seem to record properly. I've tried everything. I've been on it for 4 hours. I'm honestly been on Reddit and everything. So if you hear the bass going a bit weird, it's because of the way OBS records it. I don't know why. Anyway, so what do we need to do? Well, the first thing we need to do is we need to get this bass and we need to remove the highs. So. Now, it's subjective where you want to put this. It's down to how it sounds with the kick. So that's what we're going to do. Now, we are going to remember use a mid bass with this, so we might come back and chop and change it a little bit later, but for now, and what I've just done is put a notch just about 5 decibels, around 30 hertz, just so the kick can come through. You can't really hear a difference if I'm being honest with you. I'm always honest. So it sounded good already. So what we're going to do now is add some compression. I want to make sure it doesn't go into the red, and about -3 decibels. The reason for adding compression is it just makes things a little bit bigger. The difference is negligible. It's that word, but if you apply it to lots of different elements, it can obviously make a big difference. Okay, so now we're going to do some R bass. Want to make sure it doesn't go into the red like it was doing. It will just. So there you go. We've got this mid bass. Well, it's like, what is it? It's like a sub bass slash a mid. It's like a mixture of both. You couldn't just use it straight up as a mid bass without removing the low end, because it's got low end, and using it as a sub isn't going to work because you've got all the high end. So what we're trying to do is just separate it. And then on the last thing I'm going to do is just add Pro Q, and I've kind of done this. You'll see what I've done. So let me kind of recreate this. and tell you my thought process behind this. So I was thinking, right, this sounds really cool, but it's got elements in there that sound like they are from the mid bass section. Well, they are. You know, I don't know how Dave Parkinson's done this, but there's elements to me which sound like a mid bass. So I wanted to remove them, but I didn't want to remove the other elements. So this is where dynamic EQ comes in. And very rarely will you see me mess about with all this fancy stuff, but it does seem to work. So what I'm going to try and do is find the mid bass kind of notes. We can even turn off the EQ a little bit. We can put it down to. So it's only very subtle, but my idea is it's going ba-dum bum bum ba-dum bum bum ba-dum. When it goes like dead end on them up notes, I'm trying to kind of remove them so it sounds less like a mid bass and, like I said, more like a sub. So in my own strange mind and my own strange way, I've tried to kind of locate them sections. I never use this EQ, so it's a bit funny for me. And yeah, the reason why I've done it the dynamic way is because if we don't do a dynamic EQ, then we're going to remove these sections. Get them. All the time. We don't want to do that. We only want to remove these sections when that note hits, and that's where you use dynamic EQ. And to use it, all you do is you just do a little notch, right click and press make dynamic. And I don't know if there's a better way to do this, but I put a notch back and then pull this down, and then that's what's going to be removed, but only when that note is active. So it won't remove that frequency from the rest of the sample. So it's a really good way of removing kind of specific dynamics. Now, I don't do stuff like this, to be honest with you. Like I said, I keep it very simple. This is very finicky for me. But yeah, just a cool little way. We need some side chaining. Forgot about that because, of course, it's a rolling bass line and it's messy as shit. So this is going to clean it up massively. And all I do is I use this preset that I nicked from a Giuseppe Ottaviani tutorial I saw years ago. And it's just a Geo sub. That's it. And there you go. We've made a sick bass line out of a loop. Obviously, you could use that loop straight out of the hat, like out of the box. This is what it sounded like. You can't turn up the bass enough without turning up the highs, so we've separated them. And now we've isolated the subsections essentially. Cool. So now we will make, as I said, we'll make a full mid bass. So we're just going to get this Now we might come back and change things a little bit on the other EQ, depending on what happens here. Let's just get rid of this. I'm just going to do a couple of layers, see if we can manipulate the sound. You want to find that balance where they kind of meet in the middle. That made a massive difference just by adjusting them slightly, and having them open together really allowed me to kind of, you know, play about with them both at the same time. See it phasing there, it's phasing because it's the same sound playing. Sounds like someone's got a phaser on the EQ. Cool, so that sounds really good. What we'll do is we'll just spread it a little bit. Just push it across the stereo field. 20%, try that. And then what we're going to just do is duplicate it. And we're going to do this one 30%. And we need to try and make this sound different now. You just see me doing little filter sweeps just to see where's it sound good. No, bit too high. No, bit too low. Right. And we'll get one more and just, we'll turn off Omni Boys. We'll put it really wide. And there you go, something I've never done before. I've just made a full bass line from one loop. We've taken a loop, we've isolated a sub, we've then taken the mids, and we've manipulated the audio 3 different ways. We've widened it 3 different sections, used various distortion, delays, basic compressors, simple EQ. The only additive EQ I did, and I always do it on this kind of layer, when you're pushing a sound out and you want it to kind of just be a presence layer, you can push it up in the highs. It's only a very subtle layer. But boy, do you miss it when it's gone. So there you go. Thank you for watching this tutorial. As always, you can drop me a line for tutorials. I lost my train of thought there. Tutorials at adamellisdj.com. That's right. And we need to pick a winner from the last video. So I'm always just going to do it live to make it fair. So there were some awesome comments. I've been working a lot on the camera today. I realised the camera didn't look anywhere near as good as the first 40 did. But yeah, there's been some lovely comments. And I'm honestly just choosing them at random. There's some nice comments here. I'm going to choose Bryce. I'm going to say this wrong, but Bryce Kieras, just because you give me some really good advice on the video. So yeah, Bryce, if you message Chris at manager@adamellisdj.com, he will send you a calendar where you can book yourself a free 30-minute lesson. If you want to win a lesson, just drop a creative comment, just something that sparks my interest. As I said, there's going to be loads of chances to win. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.